Hey guys, in this video, I will show you how I made these modern style patterned serving trays. The trays are made with multiple species of hardwood, including walnut, maple, white oak, cherry, sapele, purpleheart, and padauk. On one of the trays, I used solid brass handles from CB2. The other one has routed slot handles. Now let me show you how I made these trays. The first step is to make square blocks. I used some scrap hardwood lumber in my shop. They are all nominal 3/4 inch lumber, but actual thicknesses are different. They also have different lengths and width. In this step, I will ignore the differences of thickness and cut them into similar sized square blocks, which are slightly larger than 2¼ inches. To cut squares, I used my miter gauge with a stop block. The stop block was attached to the gauge with blue tape and CA glue. The size of the block does not need to be perfect, but the corners need to be square. The second step is to cut triangle blocks. I used my CNC to cut a table saw jig with Baltic birch plywood. With this jig, I can make sure the two angles of the triangle blocks are exactly 45 degrees and the triangle blocks are all identical in size. I cut a deeper slot along the edge so the dust and debris won't clog the workpiece. The workpiece was secured with a toggle clamp, and I could hold the clamp to move the jig along the table saw fence. After all the triangle blocks were cut, I randomly selected two triangle blocks of different wood species, then glued them together with Tibon 3 and rubber band. These are the glued blocks for one serving tray. You can see that the thicknesses of the triangle blocks were different at this moment. Each tray needs 64 triangle blocks glued to 32 square blocks. To glue the 32 square blocks together, I made a jig. It's just a large MDF board with packing tape covering the whole surface. With packing tape, the wood blocks won't stick to the MDF board. I made two L-shaped plywood fences on CNC. One L-shaped fence was screwed to the MDF board. Then I just apply glue to each square block one by one and push them against L-shaped plywood fence. After all square blocks were glued, I then placed the other L-shaped fence and used some shims to apply clamping pressure. I used padauk and purpleheart to make some thin trims. The trim is about 1/8 inch thick. I don't have a zero clearance insert on my table saw, so it's a bit dangerous to cut these thin strips between the table saw blade and the fence. I used the backside of a feather board to act as a stop block to control the thickness of trim and adjust the fence for each cut. The trim was glued to the tray with butt joint. I used 23 gauge pin nails and blue tape as clamps for the glue to dry. The outside wall of the tray was made with 5/4 walnut. They are slightly thicker than 1 inch. I cut them into strips about 1 inch wide. Then I cut a miter on my miter saw, place it against the tray, mark the actual length, and then cut the miter on the other side. For gluing up the outside wall, I used blue tape, strap clamp, and multiple F-clamps. The blue tape and the strap clamp can hold the miter tight, and the F-clamps can make sure the four sides of the wall were glued to the tray tightly. The final shaping of the tray was done on my Shapeoko Pro CNC. The first two parts was surfacing the back side of the tray with a 1/4 inch downcut bit to make sure the back side was perfectly flat. Then I used the blue tape and CA glue to secure the tray onto the baseboard. On the top side, I first roughed the center part of the tray with an adaptive clearing toolpath, mainly to flatten the surface of the triangle blocks part, as they have different thicknesses. Then with the same toolpath, I roughed the four walls. For finishing parts, I first flattened the top surface of the four walls and then cut the outside contour with the same 1/4 inch downcut bit. Then I changed to this bowl and tray router bit. This bit has 3/4 inch diameter and 5/8 inch cutting height. It can cut the flat bottom surface and 1/4 inch inside transition radius. I use this bowl and tray bit to finish the top surface of the tray and cut the inside 1/4 inch round over. After filled some small imperfections with wood filler, I sanded the top and the bottom surfaces to 120 grade with my 6-inch orbital sander. For the four tight corners, I used a detail sander. As the triangle wood blocks have different grain directions, it's difficult to hand sand those corners. For the side of the four walls, I hand sanded them off the camera. The tray was finished with Rubio Monocoat Pure. It's my go-to finish for dark colored wood. It made the grain of walnut, cherry, and sapele pop. I was always excited to see the product become live after applying Rubio. To make a more beautiful sheen, I applied 2 coats of Rubio. Okay, that's how I built these patent serving trays. I installed triangle-shaped solid brass handles from CB2 on one tray and routed 2 slotted handles on the other tray. Which tray do you like better? Please let me know in the comment below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave a comment. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please thumb up and subscribe.